investigation, to get their sponsor, to get those who normally back them up. We are behind the security. We will not get tired. No matter the distraction they have been giving to us, we will keep on giving the security agencies vital information to make them excel. We need peace in Ekpe. We want to also tell elites of Ekpe, our fathers, our mother, paramount rulers, to toe the line of peace and follow the lineage of see something, say something. And this is the time we set internal security to help to minimize these cultism activities in Ekpe.
Yesterday, the Rivers State Police Command said the wanted suspect in the killing of the Divisional Police Officer of Ahoda Division, SP Bako Ambashin, is dead after his camp was raided on Saturday. Spokesperson of the command, SP Grace Ringekoko, in a statement said operatives raided the camp of the wanted suspect, Gift Obara, popularly known as Tubaba, and despite a fierce gun battle, Tubaba and his gang escaped. The statement, however, said intelligence confirmed Tubaba's death after he lost consciousness and resuscitation attempts failed. It said the raid came after Tubaba and his gang attacked Okowe town and Ojoku community, destroying pipelines early on Saturday morning. The statement also revealed that the aerial assault was conducted by the Air Force on February 10 on Tubaba and his gang at their campsite, which had a difficult terrain to discourage land-based attacks, necessitating the use of canoes to reach the location. The statement said efforts are on to retrieve the body of Tubaba while investigations into cult activities in the area continues. Moving on, the Rivers State Police Command says it is looking into the issues that led to the destruction of properties in the Che local government area over the weekend. Police spokesperson in the state, Grace Ringekoko, said the Commissioner of Police has called the area commander and DPO to give a brief on the incident. The Rivers State Chairman of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Ipman Tekena Ibaki, says petrol is available, but the ongoing strike by the National Association of Road Transport Owners, NATO, has made it difficult to distribute it. Mr. Ibaki said this on Nigerian 4FM's Morning Crossfire today.
It is because of the ongoing strike by NATO that does not allow vehicular movement from point A, the depot, to point B, the distribution outlet. It is not their decision not to distribute the product, but because of the strike, it does not allow for vehicular movement. And the reason for their strike, known to them, I think they are also in talks with the federal government. It's not something I would have to dabble with.
Mr. Baki assured Nigerians that the government is working hard to resolve the problem.
I think there is no cause for alarm, even though there is seeming scarcity in town. But supplies have already also been made, but means of delivery is the issue. I think the moment the strike is called off, I think the strike by NATO and the ETD on the end, there will be supplies all around town, and this tension will dance down.
Members of NATO had embarked on strike due to the high cost of diesel, which they used to power their trucks for transporting petroleum products across Nigeria. Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Petroleum, Hanneke Lopobiri, says the meeting with members of NATO and other stakeholders over the suspension of operations by the tanker drivers will continue today. The minister said this after all parties failed to reach an agreement during yesterday's meeting. Employees of Distillers and Blenders Association of Nigeria, DEBAN, have protested at the Lagos office of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. The workers are protesting against an announcement by NAFDAC to enforce the ban on alcoholic beverages in sachets and glass bottles of 200 milliliters and below. Now, recall that members of the Food, Beverage and Tobacco Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, through their affiliate union, the TUC, gave NAFDAC 14 days to reverse its ban on sachet alcohol. Still to come, cement manufacturers agree to reduce price. Stay with us.
Own a home at the Greater Tap City, Port Harcourt, a well-planned phased city where you can live, work and play. Greater Tap City is a 20,000 affordable housing unit initiative developed by TAF Africa Global in
that Nigeria is due for state police. His view follows ongoing talk between the federal and state government to establish state police. Speaking with correspondent Onyeka Chinwosu, Mr. Ojo said the government must ensure that all modalities are put in place before going ahead with the establishment of state police.
We need to think it through so that we don't end up creating more security challenges for ourselves. To have a well-defined parameter of engagement between the federal and the state police. We also must think through the funding sustainability, building of police stations across the maybe local governments or communities, the weaponry that will be used, the remuneration. You cannot afford to hold police salary. Otherwise, they can turn the weapon to help themselves.
Mr. Jide proposed that an executive bill be sent to the National Assembly to fast-track the process.
There is no shortcut that will be legally binding if you don't have constitutional alteration. And the issue of constitutional alteration does not have time frame. It can be done in 3 months. It can be done in 6 months. Once there is a political will to do it, I agree that the president should sponsor an executive bill that can go through that process, even if it's the sole issue we discussed. So these are processes that can be fast-tracked because we are actually in an emergency.
In other news, the president of the International Human Rights Commission Marine and Ecology Africa, Musa Saidu, has linked the heat wave of the past 2 months to the adverse effect of climate change brought about by global warming. He said this during a one-day roundtable event in Port Harcourt.
Compared to the continents of the world, Africa seems to be having a raw deal of climate change brought about by global warming. The high tidal waters, partly due to the melting of the Arctic regions of the world, account for the overflow of ocean beds and the disruption seen in the marine ecosystem. The heat wave that we have experienced in the last 2 months attest to this. This has happened in spite of the global conventions, protocols and legal regimes regulating marine and ecology.
Mr. Saidu is calling on the government to ensure that activities that destroy Nigeria's ecological and marine system are stopped.
My final call is that we appeal on government and to prioritize the issue of maritime and ecology. Let our ecosystem be healthy because a safe environment, a devoid of this anti-climate vandalism, this environmental pollution. But with this, we are begging government is that the oil companies that created this environment, these environmental problems are created by oil companies. Get what they want, they abandon it for us. And our leaders too have contributed and ally with them. But this time around, it will not be easy. It will be business as usual.
And now to business. Cement manufacturers have agreed to sell a 50 kg bag of cement at a retail price between 7,000 naira and 8,000 naira, depending on location nationwide. The manufacturers also said the price drop from the current market price would depend on the fulfillment of certain government interventions to ameliorate critical challenges faced in the industry. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, announced this after a meeting with leading cement manufacturers. Some cement dealers in Port Harcourt spoke to our correspondent on this.
We the builders, we are stranded. We don't know how to move forward. We don't know how to complete our projects. We've started since this year. Price of cement is 11,000. We heard that they had a meeting about this price. I want them to do something reasonable about it, to bring it down to like 3 or 2,500 at it were before.
Many boys we suppose do work through the cement. They no fit now. For my shop they empty because I no fit go buy that high price. Even if I go buy the high price, who go come follow me? No fit buy the cement. Yesterday I been sell 12,500 naira, but for now this morning I don't know how much they go sell.
They will go on strike. Buy that cement for 8,000. Buy that cement for 1,500. Except don't want people to build house again.
And now to entertainment. King Charles' preferred crown has replaced Queen Elizabeth II's favoured symbol on the government website, marking his role as the head of state. To sport, a preliminary draw for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations will be held today at the Confederations of African Football headquarters in Cairo, Egypt.
And now we'll bring you news from around the world.
The US has proposed a draft resolution at the UN Security Council which calls for a temporary ceasefire in Gaza. It has also warned Israel against invading the overcrowded city of Rafah. The US has previously avoided the word ceasefire during UN votes on the war, but President Joe Biden has made similar comments. That's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Reactions are still trailing the killing of gang leader Tubaba. Meeting to end petrol scarcity enters second day. Employees of distille companies have protested against the ban on sachet drinks. Cement manufacturers have agreed to reduce the price. And on the foreign scene, US has called for a temporary ceasefire in Gaza war. The news was edited by Onyekachi Musu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyeli. Many thanks for listening.